Good morning and welcome back to our video series on making a maze GUI in Java. So in this video we will be getting the actual maze to display, not just our grid. So we're still in progress here displaying the maze. So let's go ahead and take a look at our code. So when we look at this code, last time we left off where we get our maze GUI showing up here. So we can see the grid here, but we don't actually have the maze showing up yet. So that's what we're going to work on today. All right, so how do we do that? Well, we need to figure out inside of our maze if a given space is supposed to be filled in or not. Okay, so right now again we just have it drawing the grid. So what we need to do is we need to go through our maze itself, which recall we have a maze, right? So we need to go through the maze row by row, column by column, and check and see if it needs to be filled in or not. So what we're going to do is right here inside of our for loop, after we draw the rectangle, we're going to check and see, well, if it's a wall, right, then we'll actually fill it in with another color. We'll say black. If it's the starting point, then we'll make it as green, and if it's the ending point, we'll make it red. Okay. So all we have to do is say, so if, actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a, going back to our what is it? Our maze. What's our maze? Was it maze solver? Nope. Looking. Oh, there we have maze. Blind. All right. So in our maze, we had some nice methods like get pause and things like that, right? And so recall that get pause returns a node. So I'm going to go ahead and answer we're inside maze panel. So I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what, node equals maze dot get pause rc. All right, so that's going to get the node at this position, and so then we can put well, if node dot is wall. Okay, so if it's a wall, then in addition to drawing the rectangle, there's some other useful methods. So there's draw, and I'm just going to scroll down here. Oops, there it is. So there should be a, oh, you know what? I believe it's fill. There it is. Fill rect. Okay. And notice that it's actually the exact same x and y that we have here. And then width and height will be square size, square size. So helps if I do that right. Square size, square size. Okay. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to compile. And go ahead and run. And now we can see that we actually have a visual of our maze. Very cool. Now notice that we're actually seeing the grid here because we're telling it to still draw all of the individual rectangles. So I think that's how I want it. We may, let's see here, what if we get rid of that? Let's see what that looks like. And so now we don't actually get that little grid. So it depends on what we might want to do. So let's go ahead and get start and finish showing up. All right, so I'll say else if node dot is start. I believe that was a method. Then we'll go ahead and let's hear. Now we want it to fill in a different color. So we have to put g dot set color, and then we have to give it a color. And so there's some built-in colors. I'm just going to go ahead and make this. So I think if we do, what is it, color dot, we might have to do an import. So I'm going to go ahead and just say start would be green. Okay. And then we want to do fill rect. Okay. And then after we filled it, we want to set the color back to black so that the next time through it doesn't automatically do green. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing with end. So else if is end, and we'll fill in with I don't know, red. All right, so let's see what happens here. Compile, run, and now we can see the beginning, the end clearly marked. Cool. Right now we have our maze frame. Right, it's creating a random maze. I think if we were to give it, let's see, what is it? Test maze? No, it's maze.txt. This is a bit of a bigger maze, but we can kind of just see how it's going to behave. So let's go ahead and just see what happens in our maze frame. Right here, instead of saying new maze 1010, if we put in maze.txt, because we have that constructor that takes in a string, and it should load the maze. So I'm going to compile. And cool, so now we have this much larger maze, and we can see we can actually resize this window to see the whole thing. And that seems to be working. Now again, from a GUI perspective, I think what we'll eventually want, oh, I'm covering up myself here. Haha. You didn't want to see me anyway, right? What we'll eventually want is, we want this GUI to be like, have a menu bar up here maybe, where we can select the way to solve it. We might want it to automatically resize so that we can see the whole maze, or resize the maze so we can see the whole maze. We definitely want this solve button working, where when we click it, it solves. So some things like that. But this is a pretty good start. So that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.